Hi, everybody. Good Friday evening to you. It's What's It To Ya with Carter and Jack. Anyway, we've got a lot to talk about tonight. Michael Sam looks like he's going to become the first openly gay player in the history of the NFL. But we're going to talk about that big question. Is the league ready for him? And in basketball, Oklahoma State star Marcus Smart was suspended for 3 games for shoving a fan during a contest. We'll talk about whether or not that suspension was appropriate, plus your social media question of the week. And in the debate of the week this time around, there's no questioning that baseball takes a long time, but is a pitch clock the answer to the problem? We'll have our takes on that. And my parting shot, the thing that's annoying me the very most about this Sochi Olympic Winter Games. What's It To Ya starts right now. Hi everybody, welcome again. It's What's It To Ya. I am Carter Woodiel. Jack Worth is still trying to get out of his bathroom in his Sochi hotel, so I'm joined this week by Bobby Kraus. Bobby, it's great to have you on the show.
It's great to be here. At least I didn't get stuck in the elevator on the way over here.
Yeah, we wish Jack all the best. He's not actually stuck in a Sochi hotel room, but we do have a lot to talk about this week in the sporting world. Michael Sam, the former All-American defensive end at the University of Missouri and a current NFL draft prospect, announced that he was openly gay. It's a big news for the NFL, especially for a guy who has earned his spot, certainly in the draft, one would think. Sam's take on it, he said, quote, "I understand how big this is. It's a big deal. No one has done this before, and it's kind of a nervous process, but I know what I want to be. I want to be a football player in the NFL." It's important to note that Sam came out to his team and his coaches before last season, a season when he led the SEC with 11.5 sacks and was named the conference's Defensive Player of the Year. Bobby, it looks like Michael Sam's going to get drafted. It looks like he's going to play in the NFL. Is the NFL ready for an openly gay player?
I think it's a tough question because really, I think that as a society, we definitely are ready to have openly gay athletes. We have one already with Jason Collins, even though he's not playing.
Yeah, he's not playing. That's the key here.
Yeah, but this is my take on it has always been that we needed a man with the talent that Michael Sam has to be confident enough to come out as gay, because now going on his last season and the stock of his draft position in the upcoming draft, I think that it's going to benefit the NFL because he's going to be a guy that should be an impact player for whatever team drafts him. He has proven that he can rush the quarterback, which is something that you always need in the National Football League. And I think that his play on the field is going to really it's not going to leave all the focus on his sexual orientation, which is how it should be.
I mean, I don't know if I'm as optimistic as you are about this. I just feel like, you know, we've heard a lot from kind of both sides of the table. We've heard some very positive reactions, as everybody should be reacting to this. But we've also heard a report from Sports Illustrated that it cited 8 anonymous NFL coaches, NFL people, who said that this is going to be a big problem, that Sam's not going to be ready for the league. From my perspective, I think it's really hard for me to say that every team in the NFL would be okay with having Michael Sam on their team. And the big question is, is there enough, are enough people in the NFL okay with that? I don't know. I'm not as optimistic. I'm eager to see it happen. I think this needs to happen. I think we need to have an openly gay player who's confident, as Michael Sam is, go into the NFL.
Absolutely.
But I'm not ready to say that this is going to be a great day for the league, that Michael Sam's going to be a great player for the league just yet. I'm not that optimistic.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens on draft day because really he's a guy of his talent and he himself is projected to be a mid-first round, possibly second or third round, more likely draft pick. We'll have to see if he slides down to the 5th or 6th round unexpectedly. That might be a sign of things to come, even for the team that drafts him.
I do like, though, that the only reason, you mentioned Jason Collins earlier. There are a lot of reasons for teams not to sign Jason Collins, something that Jack and I talked about a couple of weeks back. There is no reason for Michael Sam to fall out of the draft.
No, absolutely not.
The SEC Defensive Player of the Year needs to be drafted by an NFL team. But the big question is, how far is his draft stock going to slide? And I can't sit here and say that I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, I regretfully agree with you because I do think that it's just like I said, I think that as a society we are ready, but for some reason people just aren't ready to accept it. And I would be not at all surprised if we're watching the NFL draft in May and we don't hear Michael Sam's name until the 5th round. I feel like it's almost inevitable.
And if I was a GM of an NFL team, I think that's a great 5th round pick. But that's just me. I'm not an NFL GM. We'll see what happens when the draft day comes around. But I'm sure I speak for Bobby when I say we wish Michael Sam the best. I really hope that he does some great things when he plays in the NFL because he's a great player.
As do I.
Marcus Smart, he's not getting as good of a reception as Michael Sam has been getting from us. He was suspended after shoving a Texas Tech fan near the end of a game, right when the game had really ended for Oklahoma State. The super fan, he calls himself, Jeff Orr, claimed that he called Marcus Smart a piece of crap before the incident. We're not really sure exactly what he said. Do you think the 3-game suspension that was handed down is appropriate for Marcus Smart?
Yes. I feel that while some situations may have warranted a response by the athlete, I feel that you, as the NCAA, if they're in this position, you can't do nothing in this situation. You can't have a marquee, big-name college player shove a fan in any scenario and not do anything about it. I feel that maybe 1 or 2 games would have been appropriate. I feel like 3 games might be pushing it a little bit, but the NCAA had to do something with this. There was no way around it.
It's a little bit uncomfortable for me, though. I mean, the NCAA is loaded with hypocrisy anyway, but this is an amateur athlete. You know what I mean? If this was a professional basketball player, that'd be one thing, because if you're a professional, part of your job is taking harsh words from fans.
Right.
But if you're Marcus Smart, I feel like a 3-game suspension is a little bit too harsh, especially because it appeared, we don't know what the fan said, it appeared he said something that really set him off.
Yeah, the rumor when the story first broke was that the fan, Jeff Orr, used a racial slur towards Marcus Smart. If that had come out to be correct, I would have said that Marcus Smart was right to retaliate.
But
you have to
we
stand up
aren't
for
sure.
yourself.
We really
we're
don't know.
We're not. So in the situation where not knowing the entire story, I feel like the suspension was necessary. Maybe a little bit harsh, but something had to be done.
Right. I mean, it makes total sense if you're the NCAA. I'm not going to go grab my pitchfork and torch and protest this.
No.
But I think it's interesting because Marcus Smart, when his name comes up when you talk about basketball, college basketball, a lot of the time the reaction was, oh, Marcus Smart, he's a great leader. Marcus Smart, he's a great teammate. Marcus Smart is a guy who stayed in school instead of going for the NBA draft last season.
Right.
And now it seems like that is all turned on a dime.
Yeah, and you have to wonder, just as we were talking about with Michael Sam, Marcus Smart stayed in school this season because he said that he wanted to improve his shooting. In the early part of the season, there were people saying that he could be the #1 overall pick.
Yeah.
You have to question now, this is also not the first time that he's had meltdowns. There was a game earlier this season where he fouled out and kicked multiple chairs on the sideline, almost kicked one of his teammates, and then stormed off the court. You have to wonder if his behavioral issues and maybe not being able to handle high-pressure situations might hurt his draft stock.
Do you think that past outburst might have factored into how long the suspension was? Because I feel like if you're the NCAA, you see this incident, and then he does something worse, and you say, okay, well, we have to lay the hammer down on this kid.
I think absolutely, because in both games, they were being nationally televised on ESPN.
Well, yeah.
So you have to, it had to be done. This was definitely, if the incident with Texas Tech had been a first-time offense, I don't think he gets suspended. Maybe the team gets warned or he gets warned, but I think that the first incident definitely played a role in his suspension.
And it'll be something to see whether or not Marcus Smart will be able to kind of change that persona. I mean, and it's a fast-moving world. He can come back and set himself straight. It's funny because Meta World Peace actually talked about this and said he'll learn from this. He'll learn from this experience.
And he needs to, because right now Oklahoma State is unranked. Tonight, Tuesday, they're playing at number 19 Texas. Texas has beaten Kansas this year, so they have proven that they can step up in big games and win. They need to start pushing themselves and getting them in good position for March Madness.
The Big 12 is a very tough conference. And if Oklahoma State wants to contend, they need Marcus Smart to be playing at his top level and to be on the court at all, if he's not be suspended. Let's now move to Facebook for our social media question of the week. This week it comes from Lewis, and he asks, what are some interesting storylines in this 2014 spring training? Well, pitchers and catchers report tonight, Friday, and the spring training is going to get underway very soon. I just cannot wait for the snow to melt and for baseball to start.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah, what are you looking for, Bobby? What's catching your eye here?
There are a couple of big storylines that I'm looking forward to. The first one is one that developed a few short weeks ago. The integration that MLB is going to be having with the padded caps as protection for pitchers. They're going to be experimenting with it during spring training. They're going to have a feeling out process, see how it goes. Interesting, though, Brandon McCarthy, a pitcher for the Athletics.
I was just about to say.
He came out when the prototype of the padded caps came out and said, I would not wear this. It doesn't work. Brandon McCarthy is one of the pitchers who was hit in the head with a line drive. So that doesn't bode well for this version of protection for pitchers if a guy who could have lost his life from this wouldn't want to wear it while he's pitching for protection.
Yeah, I think it's pretty remarkable that he had that opinion, but I think a padded cap is a great idea.
Absolutely.
But I feel like, you can't jump to conclusions with it. There's a lot going on elsewhere. Instant replay is coming up.
Yes.
It seems like over the past few years, it seemed inevitable, and finally it is here. It's there for fair or foul. It's there for home runs. It's there for all kinds of different things. What's your take on the instant replay, Bobby?
I think that for the longest time, Major League Baseball tried to hold on to the old days in saying that we are the game of human error. It's part of the game. It's part of who we are. That time has passed. Every single major sport has gone to instant replay. I know that you want to hold on to the glory days of where the human error plays a part in the game, but the point of the game now is to get the calls right.
But I don't think that in the case of instant replay, it's about holding on to some mythical glory days. I think that the fact with baseball is that umpires in a baseball game are less involved in the game and the outcome of the game than any other sport that's played here in the USA. And when you put an instant replay for calls like this, the umpires really become figureheads because now they're making calls that any average layman with a TV can make, and the calls that are close, the manager's gonna challenge and they're gonna review it. And the crew chief can review anything in the final 3 innings of the game. So I just feel like this takes away the integrity of the umpires.
Yeah. See, it's hard. I really think, though, that this is going to come into play. Let's fast forward to October of this upcoming season. Something in the back of my mind tells me that there's going to be, in either the World Series or the Championship Series, there's going to be some call where a bullet down the line by someone and it just hits fair. The umpire originally calls it foul. Let's say it's in the 5th inning. The manager challenges. We might look back on it and say that call could have changed the outcome of both teams' seasons. I feel like it's necessary.
But in that situation, now you're looking and saying, okay, now the ball's fair. Where do you put the runners? And now you're saying, okay, how long did that review take? How long did the other reviews take? The postseason games are already way too long. How long is the game now when you institute instant replay? I feel like there are more problems that are created.
It's just like the feeling out process that's going to be with the padded caps. It's going to need to be tweaked and manipulated. They're not going to get it right the first year.
Okay.
We'll have to wait and see.
That's a good point. Hopefully it will improve. Hopefully we'll find a balance.
Yes.
And
Yes.
You're right. We want calls to be made that are correct, but it's always tricky when you're integrating anything new like instant replay into a sport like baseball. We'll be talking about baseball a little bit later in the show, the debate of the week, whether or not a pitch clock should be instituted, and much more, including my parting shot, the thing that's annoying me most about the Sochi Olympics. I cannot wait to get it underway. What's It To You is back after this.
Slow down.
Slow down and move over.
And move over.
When you see lights,
vests,
Or reflectors.
please give us some room. Slow down and move over.
when you need us.
We've got your back.
Do you have ours?
You got our back?
You got ours? You got our back?
Please, slow down.
And move over.
My songs know what you did in the dark.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back again to What's It To Ya. I'm Carter Woodiel. Jack Worth is with his uncle in Alaska hunting wolverines, so I'm joined this week by Bobby Kraus. The Sochi Olympics are upon us, and the marquee event of the Games is undoubtedly men's hockey. It's the sport that everybody has been talking about, and the favorites, they're pretty clear. The United States, Canada, Russia skating on home ice, Sweden with a very good team as well. Bobby, who do you think is going to take home the gold medal?
I am going with my home country. I'm going with Team USA.
Good for you, Bobby.
Got to be a patriot. You know, the thing that I like about Team USA, undoubtedly, Canada, talent-wise, is far and away the best team in these games. They're a super team of super teams.
Yeah.
But
they are.
that's what everybody said. That's what everybody said about them going into Vancouver.
And who won the Vancouver Olympics?
Canada. But
Canada.
no one expected Team USA to challenge them like they did, going into overtime of the gold medal game.
But what's it called when you almost win?
You lose.
Losing. Listen, I think this Canadian team, I think you're right. The USA is a very good team, and Olympic hockey is extremely unpredictable.
Absolutely.
Because you play very few games. It comes down to goaltending is a big part of it, and if you're going to pick one weakness for Canada, it's in goal. But I just feel like the Canadian forwards are too strong. Sidney Crosby, Jonathan Toews, there are a lot of great forwards in the Olympics. I think Canada is top-notch, the best.
I agree with you, and I'm going to sort of contradict myself here. The weakness for Team USA is their defense, because they've only,
and for a lot of other countries as well.
Right. They're bringing in a bunch of untested players, internationally speaking, into this tournament. But I just feel like you touched on it. Canada's weakness is their goaltending. The USA forwards are the second best crop of forwards in the games behind Team Canada. So I really feel that the young defense, which does have some very, very capable players, Brooks Orpik, Paul Martin, Ryan McDonough, they'll be able to carry and Ryan Suter, can't forget him. They'll be able to carry the workload of it. They can sit the younger guys down in the preliminary rounds, let them get their feet wet. By the time they get into the semifinals, the quarterfinals, the finals, what have you, I feel like they will have their set of defensemen ready that can compete with any team, and the United States forwards can score. We all know that.
Yeah.
And you need...
Canadian score, all right. Yeah, It's going to be great. I want to talk about the home team in these Olympics. I want to talk about the Russian squad, because we were talking earlier that they really look like kind of a wild card going in. They've got home ice, but they've also got some really unbearable pressure.
Yeah, they definitely have the most pressure in the games. I feel that them being on home ice and them being such a proud country in terms of hockey, I feel like that's going to elevate their play, because they're going to say, we haven't won a gold medal in 20 some odd years. This is the year that we can do it. We can do it on home ice. Their forwards, like many other teams, are amazing. Kovalchuk, Malkin, Datsuk. The problem with them, just like the USA, is their defense.
Yeah, they have a very weak defense. It's going to be interesting. Russia, I think they wind up getting the bronze medal. I've got USA taking silver with the Canada gold. But I can see them winning. I can see them falling out of the medals entirely. It's going to be really, really fun to watch this Russian team play.
It's going to be amazing.
Let's move now to back over on our side of the pond, our country here. The NBA Slam Dunk Contest. Didn't you watch that last year? No? Well, I can't blame you, but there are new changes in the dunk contest format that might change your mind for this season. The new format pits the East versus the West. First, a freeze-style round with the 3 players from each conference going at it all at the same time, and then the head-to-head battle round where the players go at it one-on-one, and then when all 3 players on one team get eliminated, the other team is crowned champion. It looks like a cool format. Is the dunk contest watchable this year?
I think it is for 2 reasons. One, the new format. It's going to be something that people haven't seen before, so they're going to want to tune in and see how it works. Also, for the first time in a long time, the dunk contest has star power. Paul George, John Wall, Damian Lillard, and Harrison Barnes. The first 4 names on that list, except for maybe Barnes, those are household names.
Barnes is a well-known player, and he's certainly a guy who's known to be fun to watch.
Right, but with George, Wall, and Lillard, you have proven stars. You're going back to the heyday, like the 80s with Jordan.
Well,
you're going back to when the dunk contest was an event, and this might be the year that gets it rolling, because if the new format works...
You're not going back to the day where, you just said, okay, Michael Jordan was in the slam dunk contest. Who is the most famous player in the NBA right now? He's LeBron James, and he's not in the slam dunk contest. And that, to me... If I'm going to look and see, okay, here are the players who felt like being in the slam dunk contest, that takes a huge hit to how watchable the show is. right? I mean,
Yes, it does, but I just feel that the NBA is trying. They're trying to keep this
right.
alive.
I think this is a great move by the NBA. I'm just saying
Absolutely.
I don't think that this gets it to where this is a must-see event like you seem.
No,
to
but it
think
definitely gets it to closer to must see than it has been in recent years.
Okay, and this contest, I think it'll be great to see, because the way they're going to do it is they're going to have them, line up and they go one-on-one, and we might see two players go down, the third has to beat all three. So I think it's a cool idea.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I just feel like if you're going to have a big dunk contest, you should have LeBron James on the team.
Maybe
right?
one day.
Maybe one day. I mean, you think he'll be back next year? We'll see.
We'll have
back
to wait
next
and
year.
see.
Yeah, it's that kind of thing. But now it's time for the debate of the week. We're going to talk about baseball again. I love it. This time we're going to talk about how slow baseball is. Believe me, I know it's a very slow game. One of the biggest issues is that pitchers take too much time to deliver the ball when nobody's on base. They stand, they chew gum, they kick their heels, they rosin up their hands, and they finally deliver the ball to the batter once everybody is sound asleep in the stands. One possible solution to this, a pitch clock. It's been done before. The NCAA instituted it a couple of seasons ago. 20 seconds to deliver the ball. If not, it's a ball for the hitter. Bobby, you think MLB should take a lesson from this?
Absolutely not. This is such a bad idea. What we were talking about before with holding on to the old days with the umpires and replay, you can't. You can't integrate a pitch clock into baseball because the biggest key for a pitcher is rhythm.
This is going to put rhythm back into the game.
But it's like these
It's
pitchers
the
have been in
opposite of
their,
that.
but they've been in their routine for their entire lives of how they pitch. It's what makes them great.
No, it doesn't. It's what makes them boring and slow.
But boring and
They're
slow.
great by how well they
boring
pitch.
and slow. If Clayton Kershaw took 35 seconds between each pitch, we wouldn't be talking about how bad of a pitcher he is. He's still the best pitcher.
But we'd
in the
also be
game.
talking about how it would be much better if he only took 15
But it's
seconds.
give and take. Like it's give some, take some.
Listen,
You
I
have
think you're acting like the shot clock is going to be a constant presence, constantly ticking down. That's not the way that's going to be. You can institute it where the umpire's got to stop watching his pocket, and he'll realize that once he'll give a warning. Because I'm telling you right now, the shot clock's not going to be a constant thing. If you come in and a pitcher is taking too long on the mound, and the umpire calls a ball, he's going to change real quick because he's going to realize that this is something that he has to adhere to. And I don't think it's going to totally shake up how well pitchers pitch. And another thing, you're talking about how you need to hang on, to the old days. This is bringing us back to the old days. Baseball used to start at 3 and end at 5. Baseball games used to be much, much shorter. There wasn't all this standing around. And I think if we bring this pitch clock, it's a great way to turn back the clock a little bit.
You just completely turned around my argument, but I still
Yes, I did because your argument was invalid.
right. I don't know. I don't. It obviously won't be in this year. I would have to see it in action because I'm hesitant with it. I just don't know if it would be able to. I just don't know how the players would adhere to it. I don't know how they would take it. I just don't see it as. I don't see it as being on the horizon of being part of baseball for the foreseeable future.
But the thing is, Bobby, it's already part of baseball. I've got here with me Rule 8.04 from the MLB's official rule book. It reads, when the bases are unoccupied, the pitcher shall deliver the ball to the batter within 12 seconds after he receives the ball. That's 8 seconds shorter than the NCAA. Each time the pitcher delays the game by violating this rule, the umpire shall call ball. The 12-second timing starts when the pitcher is in possession of the ball and the batter is in the box, similar to the pitcher. The timing stops when the pitcher releases the ball. Now check this out. The intent of this rule is to avoid unnecessary delays. The umpire shall insist that the catcher return the ball promptly to the pitcher and the pitcher take his position on the rubber promptly. Obvious delay by the pitcher should be instantly penalized by the umpire. This is a rule. It's not enforced at all.
No.
And this is not, but it's not like this is in some forgotten corner of the rule book. The rule right before this, 8.03, it defines that pitchers have 8 warm-up pitches. The rule right after, 8.05, defines a bulk. This is not in some forgotten corner of the rule book. It's right there. It's in the books. They can enforce it tomorrow.
I need to come prepared next time because I'm speechless. I'm speechless.
I feel like the pitch clock is a quick and easy solution to the biggest problem that baseball is facing today. Because if you talk to people, even though there's less time in between pitches than plays in an NFL game, which I'll tell everybody I know, people say, I don't like watching baseball because it's too slow. The pitch clock, this rule right here, is a way you can prevent the game from being slow. It's a way you can prevent the game from being boring. And baseball really needs that.
I think you just successfully turned my argument around 180 degrees. Well done.
Yeah,
Well
I
done.
mean, do you think, though, how would this be instituted, though? If you're a player, how do you react to this?
If I'm a player as in pitcher or a hitter?
Yes.
I don't know. Would you... Okay, let's take Yankee Stadium, for example. Would you have on the huge Jumbotron at Yankee Stadium, would you take out about, like, a small corner of the scoreboard and have, starting at 20, a timer in big red numbers counting down? Would that be a distraction for the hitters? How would the pitcher be able to see the pitch clock?
Right, and that's all, that's you're true. I think for me, I just have the umpire carry a stopwatch. I know for I read somewhere an SEC team had to clock out in left center field. There are a lot of different ways you can do it, but I feel like there's a way you can do this. I mean, look at the way tennis does it. Tennis has a timing system for where you can't take too much time in between serves. And there's not a constant clock, but chair umpire will say, okay, a warning has been assessed to player X if they violate the rule. I think that should happen in baseball too.
Yeah, tennis is easier though because while it's not constantly ticking, there are on every single professional tennis court the huge Rolex clocks on the corner. So you can look at that. I think that... Wow, I can't believe you completely turned me around. Now that I think about it, there probably is a way to do it. It would need to, again, be integrated during spring training.
Yes.
People might...
It would be quite a task.
People might fight the umpire having the stopwatch because the hitter and the pitcher wouldn't be able to see the time themselves. You'd have to work on that, but yeah, this might happen, it might not, but according to you, and now believed by me, it can be done.
I'm so happy to have won this debate, Bobby. Thank you so much for playing. We've got some lovely parting gifts for you. Actually, it's just a parting shot. It's what's annoyed me most about these Sochi Olympic Games. I know that there's a lot of issue with it. Temperatures in the 60s, hotel rooms not working, people being locked inside, like poor Jack. Not really. But the thing that's annoying me here in the States is when I try to watch it on TV. When I see that there's a big competition happening early in the morning here in America, and I'm not going to be able to watch it till 8 o'clock at night or later on Olympic prime time. Listen, I love watching Bob Costas as much as the next time, but NBC really needs to understand tape delay does not work. You can't DVR sports. I'm watching the downhill skiing event and I see them skip right down to the American. Okay, great. Now I'm not in the event. Now I'm realizing that you're controlling everything you put in front of me. I hate it. And you know what's my least favorite thing? Is about how I can't watch any other sports during it. I'm looking on ESPN. I have to avoid looking at the ticker because it has the results of a slopestyle competition. I go on to NBC Olympics' website to watch live streaming of the curling events, and you know what I see? I was gonna watch that at 9:30. NBC, it's your own website. Help me out a little bit, please. I think it just demonstrates just how awful tape delay is. Live sports is live sports. Don't mess with it. That's my take. What's it to you? Our show is over. God willing, Jack will be back next week. It's been great to see you once again. Good night.